Hello and welcome to KAUST Live. We're joined by Trish Damkroger today. She is the Vice President of the Technical Computing Initiative, Enterprise and Government Group at Intel. Patricia, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Tell me what that long title means.
Well, I'm still figuring it out. So I joined Intel a month ago from Lawrence Livermore National Labs. And I think one of the best things is I get to a little bit decide what that means, but it's really looking at what is the strategy for high-performance computing all the way through workstations at Intel and making sure our products are delivering to that high-performance computing strategy.
So what was your previous role at Lawrence Livermore?
So at Lawrence Livermore, I was responsible for the computation directorate. I was the acting associate directorate there. And that was in a 1,000-person organization and was everything from your mobile phone all the way up to our high-performance computing, our petaflops, over 20 petaflop machines that we had there.
Interesting. So how did that lead you to get involved with HPC? Because I know that you've been involved, with SC for many years. So how did that jump take place?
So I think when I joined Lawrence Livermore over 15 years ago, high-performance computing was it's in the blood at Lawrence Livermore. And I was not part of that before, but after being there a year or so, I started volunteering for supercomputing, our SC conference. And once you get hooked in, you can't leave. I mean, they never let you leave. So yes, I've been part of SC for the last over decade now.
Right. What was your favorite part of being part of that group?
Well, I think the conference is the place where if you want to be part of HPC and you want to connect with people, you go to SC. And so it's the networking and getting to know the people, and we're truly a family in the SC. I mean, I was chair at SC 14, which is a huge responsibility. It's 600 volunteers. So it's truly herding cats at times. But we all want to make the conference a success. So it's a shared success that is a lot of fun.
You coined, I believe, HPC Matters as a thing in 2014, and I believe it's still in use now. My 2016 backpack still has that on it. So
right.
You've had a big influence, obviously.
So I think there's a few things you can do when you chair a conference. You can make a couple changes, and one of the things, and it really goes back to talking about our children. My kids didn't understand why I was so enamored by computing and what was this whole high-performance computing anyway. And it's because of what it can do. And if we talk about how HPC, I keep telling them HPC will change the world, and I'm talking about the precision medicine and climate change and discovery of new drugs. I mean, these are the things that why I'm so attracted to high-performance computing and why I think I wanted to get that message out that it's not just big computers. It's not just the technology. It's really how we're using those computers to make that scientific discovery. So that's where I get very excited about.
So is that what led you to make the leap to Intel as well?
So I think with Intel, it has such a much broader reach than what I could do at a national laboratory. And so when I had the opportunity, it was a very hard decision. I loved the mission of our national laboratories and what we were achieving as far as scientific discovery, but Intel allows me to have a broader reach and hopefully a broader impact.
You're into coaching in particular of women in STEM. Can you talk about that?
So again, I think it goes back to our children, right? My daughter, who's 19 and has decided to go into computing, but there was a time when I didn't think she would. I just watched my daughter and her friends grow up and what they go through, especially as they become middle schoolers and high schoolers, you know, those awkward teenage years and all the pressure society puts on them. And them wanting to be cool and being, you know, a nerd was not cool. And so how to help women find their voice and be okay with who they are. So I did. I took a program at UC Berkeley and became an executive coach. And I work with women who are in male-dominated fields. So I've worked a lot with somebody who is in the Caterpillar company, which is the heavy equipment, machinery, and she faces the same challenges as women in STEM, in these male-dominated fields. And it's just how to find your voice and feel comfortable when you're the only female in a room.
Right. What lessons then do you think that holds for, let's say, graduate students or women in universities as well?
So again, when I was going through school, I'm an electrical engineer by degree. I mean, I had moments where I was told, I'm not smart enough, you're female, you don't know anything. And I was shocked when I started talking to women in graduate school, and they were getting the same messages. And I think the thing is you've got to surround yourself with people, find a mentor. And again, as a coach, I can act as that for these women who are trying to make their way in these male-dominated fields. So for those graduate students, surround yourself with supportive people. Right. It's going to be my probably number one message.
Right. Switching back to computers, so since you spent so much time at a national lab, what do you see as the new thing coming along for these labs, for these big institutions, research institutions in the U.S.?
Well, our big thing now is exascale, the fight to go to exascale, and what's that going to mean as far as architectures and programming languages. So even if we can give you a computer that is at an exaflop or exaop, depending upon what you look at, we have to have the applications, the algorithms, the whole ecosystem to support that. And that's going to be a huge challenge, going from more of a homogeneous environment to a heterogeneous environment in the architectures, looking at moving our codes. I mean, we're talking about the power requirements and the memory wall. There's just so many challenges. It's a very exciting time right now to look at how we're going to increase the performance of the computers and be able to afford it.
And what lessons do you think that there are for emerging universities? I mean, I've heard several people talk about the ability to sort of leapfrog over some of these institutional challenges that are in older research institutions. You have any thoughts on that?
So, I mean, I think we'd all like to learn how to leapfrog over old technologies. I think KAUST is in a very good position because they are looking at applied sciences and that they've really combined disciplines to do that. I know in the U.S. we're struggling and we're seeing a lot of new degrees in those combined disciplines. So I think it's interesting that KAUST model is just based on that. And when you start bringing together the computer scientist with the biologist, with the chemist, that's when you're going to find that magic of having everybody work together and make those scientific discoveries. So I think KAUST is well ahead and just doing a much more multidisciplinary approach to their work. And I would encourage anybody going in to not just focus in a single area. It's going to be that breadth that's going to carry you much farther.
Any sort of big ideas in terms of where exascale can take us once these challenges to implementation are addressed? What are some of the pie-in-the-sky ideas that people can start looking to solve?
Well, climate change is one, that we can finally get to the point where we can model the full universe and get down to being able to model below the 1 kilometer level so that we can truly understand clouds' impacts on the ocean, uprise, and the whole system at one time, where we can't do that right now.
So you mean taking an incredibly large area, but then being able to, at any one point, pinpoint something within a kilometer radius?
Correct. Correct. We cannot get below the 1 kilometer level at this point. Precision medicine. I mean, if you try to to model the human body and everything that's in there, from your cell to your muscle structures on up, your bones, and we can't do that today at the scale of computers we have. So we're going to need exascale and probably beyond to be able to do that, and then be able to say, okay, what specifically your human body, what are those drugs that your body can accept or not accept, and whatever the issue is. So these are the things we need exascale for if we're going to be able to solve these problems.
Right. Any teasers for SC17?
Any teasers? Well, it's in Denver. Let's hope that the weather will cooperate, and I think Denver's a great city. I know it was there a couple of years ago, and so I think it will be a great conference.
Right. Well, Patricia Damkroger, thank you for speaking with us, and I hope
pleasure.
you enjoy the rest of your time at KAUST.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers.